to welcome Dan Shaw and his students from the Bosque School.
Hi, I'm Onlay. I am a 7th grader at Bosque School here in Albuquerque. My mom's from Mexico and my dad is from Florida. I dance flamenco and I bring as much passion to my science as I do to my dance. My dad taught me that it's important to break the poverty cycle, and I saw science education as a contributor to help me succeed in doing so. My parents were living in the Navasota watershed, aka Bryan, Texas, when I was born. But Albuquerque and the Rio Grande watershed have been my home for most of my life. Hola, soy Nile y soy una estudiante de la Escuela de Bosque aquí en Bosque. Mi mamá es de México, mi papá es de Florida, baila flamenco y tengo la misma pasión por las ciencias que por el baile. Mi papá me enseñó que es importante romper el ciclo de la pobreza y yo sé que la educación en las ciencias me está ayudando a tener éxito. Mis padres vivían en la Navasota Watershed, Texas, cuando yo nací, pero Albuquerque y el Río Grande son mi hogar desde que empezó mi educación.
Hello, I am Jaden. Like Analea, I am a 7th grader at Bosque School. I was born into the Rio Grande watershed at Presbyterian Hospital, where doctors and nurses helped make our community better and stronger through their medical knowledge. Personally, I come from a very long line of scientists, including my grandma, uncle, and 2 cousins, who are all doctors.
I am Dan Shaw, and I am a proud New Mexico science teacher. I too work at Albuquerque's Bosque School. I was born in the Philadelphia area to the Delaware watershed, but like Jaden, my family included generations of scientists. For example, over 100 years ago, one of my great-great-grandfathers studied and documented the impacts of pollution in water on fishes and humans. From this tradition, and for my entire adult life, I have helped my students discover how to be citizen scientists and care for the Rio Grande and its watershed. Citizen scientists are ordinary people who contribute to scientific knowledge, and even if they are not yet or never will be formal scientists, they still matter in the world of science. The Rio Grande is a great place to study science, and here, let me do a little audience interaction with you, and I'm going to teach you how to turn yourself into a map of the Rio Grande. Stick your left hand high in the air, and put your right hand down at your side. Wave your fingertips of your left hand to represent the Colorado Rockies, where the Rio Grande starts. If you wiggle your right hand's fingertips, they represent the Gulf of Mexico, where the Rio Grande ends its journey. From fingertip to fingertip, you represent 1,901 miles. But our slope is a little bit off. To properly show the slope from 12,000 feet high to sea level across 1,900 miles, you need to hold your hands high out to both sides, both at the same height from the ground. Now lower your right hand, the Mexican Gulf of Mexico side, the width of a thickness of a fingernail. The drop over the length is just 0.1%. There, you are now a more proper Rio Grande map. By scale, your left arm from your wrist to your armpit is New Mexico, which I guess makes El Paso. Halfway between your wrist and El Paso is the Bosque, where Jaden, Annalay, and I conduct our science.
Both Jaden and I are proud to partner with the University of New Mexico Go Lobos Science and the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish, where we work as citizen scientists in and along the Rio Grande, its tributaries, and its riverside forest, the Bosque. Both of us study how climate and humans alter our local ecosystem. One of the projects I enjoy participating in is the Jackrabbit Survey at the Sevilleta National Wildlife Refuge. Just north of Socorro, riding in a short bus, starting an hour after sunset, we shine 3 million candle power spotlights out the windows and look for eyeshine from rabbits. We count the rabbits we see and record our data, and all of our work fits in with other research done at Sevilleta to see how climate impacts our New Mexico environment, including the people and other animals that live there. Jaden y yo estamos orgullosas de trabajar con la Universidad de Nuevo México y con el Departamento de Caza y Pesca como científicas ciudadanas a lo largo del Río Grande, sus afluentes y bosque del río. Nosotras estudiamos con el clima y cómo los humanos afectan el ecosistema local. Uno de los proyectos que disfruto es cuando hago los informes sobre los conejos en Sevilleta National Wildlife Refuge. Justo al norte de Socorro, nos montamos a un autobús chiquito y empezamos cuando está la puesta del sol. Nosotros encendemos con muchas lámparas y alumbramos a través de las ventanas para vislumbrar los ojos de los conejos. Contamos el número de los conejos que encontramos y hacemos el registro de los datos. Todos los registros y otras investigaciones los entregamos a Sevilleta para determinar cómo el clima impacta en el medio ambiente de Nuevo México, incluyendo el impacto de la gente y de los animales.
At our school, every month we walk out to the Bosque and do our environmental monitoring. Last year in 6th grade, we got an opportunity, special mastery project. We got to choose a problem in our community and create a solution. My group chose the conflict between unleashed dogs attacking porcupines in our bosque. I liked this topic because I am fascinated by the Bosque ecosystem and its animals. After collecting data, my 2 researchers and I came up with an idea how to educate people on how to reduce the harm to porcupines from dog attack. The 3 of us also got to help, after the fact, high schoolers to capture and radio color porcupines, which was a very rare opportunity, and I got to see a porcupine close up for the first time in my life.
This year, both Shaden and I studied chemistry by going to and testing water in some of the smaller streams that flow into the Rio Grande. My team and I are preparing a scientific report of Las Huertas Creek and the north end of the Sandia Mountains and its pH levels, or how acidic or basic the water is, or how it's been over the last 3 years. We're finding that in the stream, the pH is mostly around 8 on the pH scale, which is actually pretty good for fish and humans. Este año, Jaden y yo estamos estudiando química haciendo pruebas de agua en pequeños arroyos del Río Grande. Mi equipo y yo estamos preparando un reporte de ciencia del nivel de pH con ácido básico del arroyo de las Puertas en las montañas Sandia. Esta investigación se ha realizado en los últimos 3 años, que hemos encontrado que el arroyo de pH está alrededor de 8 en la escala de pH, y eso es bueno para pescados y humanos.
My team is looking at phosphorus, a type of chemical nutrient in the East Fork of Jemez River. And we have found the levels have exceeded state standards for the past 3 years. All of my work as a citizen scientist makes me proud of where I live and proud of being able to collect and give data to help our community at the age of 12. I want people to reinforce the importance of being a young woman in science. Through science, young people can have significant impacts on our communities. The importance of being a woman in science and being able to have the same rights and opportunities. There are many times we are shut out. Women must be part of creating and discovering all of science potentials. When it comes to science and science education opportunities, no one should ever take them for granted. Some children don't get the same opportunities that I do. So I want to challenge our teachers and schools to find more ways to help students be unique, creative, and be more engaged in science. I want to challenge our nation states leaders to never stop fighting for science, my equal rights to participate in science, and support science education.
When I do things like study jackrabbits under a full moon or water pollution in a local stream, I become a true scientist. I want other children to grow up in an environment where they understand how to do science. I want to show kids, especially young girls, that science is an important aspect in our lives. Science rocks. I want to challenge the adults listening to me today to inform their kids, love them, support them, and let them decide what is good for their futures. Help steer them on a good path.
Jaden, Annalie, and students like them don't just drop out of the sky by magic. They become citizen scientists, engage in using science to better their communities through excellence in science education. Our modern world, where we can afford such luxuries as the Bill of Rights, a green chili cheeseburger, and safe neighborhoods, has to be built upon the interlocking three-legged stool of a justice-based human community, a healthy economy, and a sustainable ecology. For on that stool, humanity's fate rests. To weaken any one of those legs is to doom us all. Science informs each of those legs, and so we must have fully funded, uncensored science education. Some might look around our country and paraphrase Tolkien and ask, when did America the Great abandon reason for madness? And I reply, as long as there are science educators across this great land, we will build a bulwark against the storms of ignorance. Science education for all of our students, regardless of backgrounds or ability, is every New Mexican's and every person's birthright. Along our Rio Grande, from mountaintop to the shining sea, let robust science education ring.
If you're a girl and love science, let us hear you roar. If you're a guy and love science, let us hear you roar. No matter what your ethnicity, gender,
Orientation.
or anything else is, if you love science, let me hear you roar.